Why are men such pieces of crap when it comes to dating? Like, I really think about it. Like, as men, dating hasn't really changed much in terms of what we want and how we go about it. But being a woman trying to navigate in the dating scene these days is really tricky. And I think people try and spend a lot of time thinking about why men are such pigs. And I don't think that's actually the productive way of looking at it. I think they need to think about how men are pigs. So I'm going to break that down for you, why men become players or boys or womanizers, whatever it might be. Let me actually break down exactly how it works, because as a woman, you need to know how to navigate the terrain that you're actually operating in. So I hope this comes in handy. Now, where a lot of women go wrong is they think men date, and that's wrong. There are two types of men when it comes to dating. There are men who either have hoes, or there are men who ain't got no hoes. Now, for the men who ain't got no hoes, they date the way that women would like them to date, which means they are here and they find a woman over here and they try to connect with her, and it either works or it doesn't. Let's say it doesn't work. They find another woman, they try to connect, and now we're dating, we get married, happily ever after. Now, the problem with that is in terms of viable single men. And ladies, single, as for a man, the definition of single as a man is what would he put on a government document. So be aware that if a man is single, it doesn't necessarily mean he's single, because he could either have hoes or ain't got no hoes. Now, what you need to understand about this is this, in terms of the dating pool, is only represented by about 5 to 10% of available single men. The rest of men sit in the have hoes category. So let's just get rid of this fallacy, the idea that you're going to find a guy that doesn't have any hoes. You just may not find out about them. But let me explain exactly what men's hoes look like. So normally a guy will have some sort of roster. They'll have a rotating roster of hoes. And I just want to be clear, hoes is a broad category. It's an umbrella category. I know it sounds derogatory. I don't mean it with any judgment. It's just the common vernacular that's used. Now, when men have hoes, so I'm not implying that women are all hoes. I just want you to be clear about that. I'm saying that this is the common vernacular that men use. Now, when you have hoes, you have 4 types of hoe. You've got your guy. You've got your main guy over here. This is the guy. He's dating. Now he's going to have 4 types of hoe. He is going to have a main squeeze. So your main chick or your main squeeze, we'll put it as a main chick over here, or MC for short. Your main chick is the one that you like the most and you will allocate the most time to, or you allocate your favorite days to. Then you will have the commonly known side chick. Now a side chick is a chick that you like and you would be sad to be without, but you're not quite willing to allocate as much time and commitment and sometimes stealthiness, because remember, men are pigs, as you would to the main chick. You're not as fear of loss to lose the main chick. Now, what you have here is your anytime hoe, otherwise known as a booty call. Now, the upside of an anytime hoe or a booty call is that they will generally be up for whatever and not ask any questions. They know exactly what's going on. It's more like a fitted into the schedule when it's convenient. Sometimes you don't even need to really send a message. You just send a question mark text, whatever it is. Now, finally, as part of a man's roster, and he will normally be having a 3 to 4 person roster if he is a proverbial player or womanizer or whatever, a high status guy who has a lot of options with women and mid-range integrity, not necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, but just middle of the pack, because that's how society works these days. You are then going to have a new addition. So a new addition means you. So this is you if you are dating. So how this works, so let's break down the 4 types of woman a guy's going to be dating, the type of high status guy is going to be dating. And whether you like it or not, you're probably going to experience this, which is why men are so frustrating. A new addition is somebody who he's not sure about. It's something that he's trying to get, which means he hasn't got that connection established yet. You're either going out on a date or he's inviting you around or, whatever level. Now, the amount of effort that he's willing to put in will generally show the interest, but men are also creatures of boundaries. So they'll do as little as they can. It's up to you to set the boundaries as the woman. So that new addition will probably not be aware of any of these people, and he will try and fit you in on a convenient night, ideally a preferential night. Now your anytime, they're just around anytime. Like I mentioned, it's just when you can slot it into the schedule. The thing about the anytime is they usually work on a concept of plausible deniability, meaning don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. They've probably got other people that they're seeing, you've probably got other people you're seeing, nobody cares, it's just a convenient thing. The side chick, however, generally speaking, and this is something that no women know about, and I hope I'm not breaching any bro code here, but the side chick generally thinks she's the main chick. So the side chick has musings or a concept that there may be other women in the picture, but if she just works hard enough, she'll be that, the one that eventually the guy will drop all the other hoes. Now, that's not normally how it works. Normally how it works is the side chick remains the side chick, and we normally get a new addition end up becoming the main chick. And if the new addition can effectively implement a dating strategy, which I'll cover in a second, the new chick will become the main chick with no side chicks or anytime hoes. A man will quote unquote drop his hoes, which is a real gesture of love from a man. Now, the main chick, however, so you've got the new addition who has no idea. You've got the anytime who doesn't care, doesn't want to know. You've got the side chick who thinks she's the main chick. And you've got the main chick who thinks she's the only one. So the main chick has no idea, and a man will go to great lengths to cover his tracks. He will keep his phone on flight mode while he's around that girl. He will make sure that he is allocating appropriate time where messages aren't going to be going off. They'll be avoiding weekends and nights out and target-rich environments where he can create a new addition. So the main chick is normally rather clandestine in terms of how he operates. So you've got to be really careful for that. And so hopefully this gives you a bit of an understanding of the anatomy of a player or a womanizer. It's not that he's just dating a bunch of girls, he's dating 4 types of girls that he's decided. Now, this is not a dictation of your worth, it's a dictation of the boundaries that you set. It's not that he's a piece of crap, this is just how modern dating works, and that's what people can get away with because, as I said, men are creatures of boundary. Now, for me, oddly enough, I'm in a monogamous marriage and I'm totally cool with that. So I'm not judging, I don't do this. I may have done this once or twice when I was younger, but just to be aware, this is the anatomy of modern dating. So now that you understand that you're going to be a main chick, side chick, anytime, or new addition, how do you become a main chick without any of this? Without having any unfortunate coincidences or run-ins or, whatever? It is possible. Now, it is really, really possible, but like I said, it comes down to boundaries. So as a woman, how do you set meaningful boundaries so that you can just take that guy and have him ideally? Remember, we've got our have hoes and we've got our no hoes. How do we eliminate the idea that this guy could be a have hoes guy and turn him into a no hoes guy? In other words, how do we, because there's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing if he is that unicorn guy that is just exclusively dating. Now, there's also guys that have no hoes that don't have the ability to get hoes. And that's, an incel or somebody who just has no game. That's different. But we're talking about someone who is desirable and high status and chooses not to see anybody while he's waiting for that perfect person. Well, the first thing you need to understand is this guy has to be at least 25 years of age. You're not going to get a guy that dates seriously unless, and it's not so much a temporal, like a time thing, it's more that the men will generally, those types of guys, most types of high status guys, will not want to settle down until at least 2 to 3 of his friends have started settling down and having kids. Why? Because 1 could be a fluke, 2 is probably a coincidence, 3 is a trend, and now you've got to stick to what the trend's doing. So just be aware that knowing in terms of age where this guy is or where his friends are, that's going to impact this a lot. But how do we either get this guy to drop his hose or theoretically, even if he was dating seriously and not having any girls, not having that roster of despicableness, how do we get him to commit and not have any risk of being strung along? Well, I actually got this, one of my really good mates, a guy named Mark Rosenfeld. So he runs one of the top dating agencies in the world for women. He taught me this. It's in his book. So I'll drop a link for him in this. I love you, Mark. You're the man, right? The problem is why a lot of women get strung along or end up in an unfavorable part of the roster is because they give away what's called the boyfriend benefits. Think about it. Have you ever just run through 5 or 6 free trials of the same software using a fake email? like the equivalent of like wearing like a disguise and going into the same bank to get more money. The issue with that is if you give a guy all the benefits of being in a relationship, why would he ever commit to a relationship? Now, I'm not saying that it's like the wait 5 dates before you sleep with anybody. I think that's outdated. I think the chemistry and where you guys are in your life will definitely matter more than the pretense that you set. But how frequently and often are you giving him all the benefits of the boyfriend without committing to monogamy with you? Well, the acronym that I learned from Mark is that you've got to be aware of what those benefits are. And the acronym for that is SELL. So the acronym SELL stands for sex, excitement, loyalty, and love. This is your currency as a woman in the early stages of a relationship. Think about it. These are the things a guy is looking for from a girlfriend. But if you are not the person who can set those boundaries, he is going to take as much as he can without actually having to pay anything on his side. His currency is loyalty and connection. And you've got to make him pay with that before you can give him these. Now, that's not to say you can't have sex with a guy. What you have to be aware of is that it takes between about 3 and 5 uninterrupted rounds of intercourse for the oxytocin to take over and you to catch feelings. Now, men have a delayed version of this because they obviously want to spread their seed a bit more, so they don't catch feelings as quickly. So scientifically, you've got to be a little bit aware of this. You're more than welcome to do it, but just watch the frequency here unless you're sure of what you want. Now, excitement, it's are you doing really exciting things? Are you available with your time? That's really, really useful to understand. It's if you're a little less available, he's maybe willing to cut off his hose. So that makes more sense. Again, loyalty, if you're volunteering loyalty without asking for it in exchange, well, who wouldn't take that deal? And then lastly, love. Are you really giving them that affection and that compassion? Well, don't bear your whole set of cards if you're not sure what the bet is. So really understanding the value here. Now, if you can implement that until you are sure there are no hoes, then you will get a guy who could have hoes but don't have hoes. And that is how you navigate the current environment of boyery. Good luck, ladies.